The Old Man and the Sea, part 22, part 2 of that 22. Once we got here, we got the idea of surge, and then you are thinking to yourself, oh, here he goes again with this line. So once we get this idea of surge, once we get this idea that the line can be circling here, and depending on the way I move, it can be here, we can connect those two ideas, and we'll go back to that paragraph and think about it. I wonder what he made that lurch for. So yeah, probably it wasn't just the give, once the line escapes from here to there, it gives some, okay, some give is like some extra line. How can I explain that to you? Okay, I really hope okay, so let's imagine, this line is completely stretched, right? Very taut, right? So there won't be any give, okay? But the line like this, there is some give, and I can work with this give, and I don't know, to do stuff. Okay, so maybe the lurch wasn't the give, right? Maybe the wire of the leader, by sliding from one side of the back of the fish to the other side, it hurt the fish, and because it hurt the fish went up and down. And that new interpretation fits very well here because of the following. Take a look. I wonder what he made that lurch for, he thought. The wire must have slipped on his great heel, on the great heel of his back. Certainly, his back cannot feel as badly as mine. So, yes, it was hurting, but it's not hurting as much. My back is hurting. But he cannot pull this skiff forever, no matter how great he is. Now everything is cleared away that might make trouble, and I have a big reserve of line, all that a man can ask. Fish, he said softly aloud, I'll stay with you until I'm dead. He'll stay with me too, I suppose, the old man thought, and he waited for it to be light. It was cold now, and the time before daylight, and he pushed against the wood to be warm. I can do it as long as I can, he thought. And in the first light, the line extended out and down into the water. The boat moved steadily, and when the first edge of the sun rose, it was on the old man's right shoulder. Edge is right, the top of something, right? He's headed north, the old man said. The current will have set us far to the eastward, he thought. I wish he would turn with the current. That would show that he was tiring. Why? Stop the video and explain it to yourself. Because of course, once you are going with the current, you don't need to make that such a big effort, right? If you don't follow the current, you have to use your own energy, and that's what the fish is doing here. When the sun had risen further, the old man realized that the fish was not tiring. There was only one favorable sign. The slant, so the line is slanting down, and it can, take a look, it can slant like this, okay? Or it can slant like this, all right? So the slant of the line showed he was swimming at a lesser depth. Can you imagine what would be the position that would show that the fish is swimming in a lesser depth? Look, like this, the fish is swimming very deeply, and as the line is length like this, it shows the fish is not so deep, okay? That did not necessarily mean that he would jump, but he might. God let him jump, the old man said. I have enough line to handle him. Maybe if I can increase the tension just a little, it will hurt him and he will jump, he thought. Now that it is daylight, let him jump so that he'll fill the sacs along his backbones with air, and then he cannot go deep to die. Well, remember, it's very dangerous if the fish dies down there, because how are you going to bring it up? Okay? And just as if you want to stay, if you have ever tried to stay at the bottom of the pool, you have to take the air out, otherwise you won't sink so much, right? Of course, the same thing happens to fish, right? If they fill their sacs with air, they won't be able to dive, you know. So I think they have to let the air go little by little. He tried to increase the tension, but the line had been taut up, like completely taut. Remember, guys, that the preposition up in English, in many occasions, gives us this sense of completely, very much, you know, like eat up. Eat up is like eat everything you can, right? That's why we have the expression, for example, shut up, right? Because what is shut? Shut is close it, right? Close it. It's like shut up. It's like close your mouth completely, right? So the line had been taut up to the very edge of the breaking point. When you are on the edge of something, you are on the verge of something, you are almost doing something. You can be in the edge of, I don't know, an attack, a panic attack. Very edge of the breaking point. Since he had hooked the fish, and he felt the harshness as he leaned back to pull, and knew he could put no more strain on it. Okay, so he leaned back to pull, but he couldn't because the line was reaching breaking point. I must not jerk it ever, he thought. Each jerk widens the cut the hook makes, and then when he does jump, he might throw it. So this is a second danger, right? The first danger, the line will break. Second danger, imagine this is the hook in the fish's flesh, you know? As you start doing this, you know, the hole will be bigger, and this thing, remember a word we've learned here, this hook here will be loose. Not lose, because lose is the verb, it will be loose. And if it's loose, if the fish starts jumping, you know, this hook can just come out. I must not jerk it ever, he thought. Each jerk widens, make wide, widens the cut the hook makes, and then when he does jump, he might throw it. Anyway, I feel better with the sun, and for once I do not have to look into it.